Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to tell you guys a little bit about me and who Madeline is and what Madeline has been through, or some of the things that I have been through. My mom had me and my older brother at a very young age. I was sent back home because my mom had me at such a young age that she wasn't ready to or she wasn't ready. She didn't have the means to care for my older brother and I. So they sent us back home to Ghana, and we lived with so many different peoples. We were passed around left and right. Um, I guess my first memory of being back home is when I was 6 years old, and I and my uncle raped me. But so my uncle, who started molesting me when I was 6 going on 7, and I'm trying so hard to compose myself. I think I'm doing a very good job. But when that happened, the first time it happened, I did tell um, my grandmother's sister that I was living with at the same time. I told them what happened, and they told me that I was a bad girl, I was lying, and I literally got in trouble for it. So ever since then, I never said anything. Whenever something happened or whatever, I just never said anything because I didn't want to be in trouble, or I didn't want to be called like a bad girl, or like I'm like. So I just always kept everything in. Um, and I just never talked about it. So, and then also in school, I remember I had a teacher that my heart is like. I had a teacher that whenever we will go to school and they do this thing, if you're Ghanaian, they'll tell you to put your head on the desk. So the whole class will have your head on the desk, and then the teacher would like call me forward, and I will go, and then he'll start like touching me. And again, I was scared to say anything because I felt like the first time that I did say something, I got in trouble for it. So I'm not gonna say nothing now and get in trouble for it. So these were things that like I was, God, I was just holding in and holding in. It got to a point that we were moving from Accra. It was my brother and I. We did everything together. We like my grandmother would send us money back home, um, but we never saw that money. Like, so sometimes he would like go out and steal so that he can get money to buy food for myself and him, and so it became like a routine thing for him. And then I remember whenever my grandmother would be coming to Ghana, like they would dress us up and put us in like our best clothing just to make it look like everything was okay. Um, so I remember we were moving from Accra to Kumasi, and I was so excited because I was like, yes, like I get to leave this and go somewhere else that hopefully like it's gonna be better. Um, so we moved to Kumasi, and I was with my brother, with my grandma's her other sister. We were living with her, and that lady, God, she was an angel. She was so sweet. She still is. I mean, I haven't seen her since I left Ghana, but I'm sure she's still like she's an angel. She was amazing. She took care of us for a little while, and we had to move from where she was living into a house that my grandmother was building. So it was a really big house, and we moved in there with other family members. It was a full house. It was a really big house. At that time, where they were building the house, it wasn't really like, it was kind of like a village. It wasn't really the village, but it was like the village turning into a city. So we had like a lot of farms and stuff around, and my grandmother's sister's daughter's husband. I remember one time he was going to the farm, and then he was like, I should, accompany him to it. And I honestly, at that time, at such a young age, and I never really thought anything of it because since I left Accra, like life was pretty decent. I wouldn't say good, but it was decent. Like I wasn't having to deal with a lot of a lot of I wasn't having to deal with a lot of those things because I felt like it was good. So when he invited me, well, not invited me, when he told me to, let me get tissue. When he told me to come with them, I was like, okay, like, because for me, they never wanted to take me anywhere they want, because they always treated me like, if I get hurt, when my grandmother comes, like in Kumasi, that's how they treated me. Like, they always wanted to make sure I was safe. So I was excited that he wanted me to go with him, because going to the farm is really fun. Like, they catch crabs and it was really fun. So I was like, okay, I want to go because nobody ever really took me. Um, we get there and he starts like touching up on me, and at this point I'm like scared out of my mind because right now in my head all I'm thinking is like, God, not again. Like, are you kidding me? And he's like, and this is like the middle of nowhere. We're in the bushes. Who are you gonna call for? Like, no one. So he starts touching up on me, and he's like, and I'm just standing there. He does whatever he wants to do, and we came back home. When we came back home, we know this was a different environment with different people. I was still very scared because I'm like, well, I got in trouble and I told them if I say something now, like this could be another nightmare that I just let me. So I kept it to myself, and I remember he did it a couple of times. Like now, it was in the house when nobody was around, so I never really wanted to be home, or I never really wanted to be where he was. Like I tried so hard to avoid it. Um, but again, like I'm so young. I wasn't even at this point. I want to say I'm probably like around 9, 10. Yeah, I'll give myself around that from 9 to 11. I'll give myself that age because I came back here when I was 12. So at this point, and this is like a guy in his either his early 30s or like late 20s, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? So um, I never really wanted to be where he was. I always tried my hardest to avoid any. So I remember I got so sick. Like I got so sick to the point that they thought I was really gonna die. Like at this point, I wasn't taking the medicine. I wasn't, because naturally I was rejecting everything because I'm like, if I have to be alive and endure this anymore, I think I'm gonna go insane. So whenever they would try to give me the medicine, I wouldn't take it. Like I was just like, I'm not, excuse the dog barking, but I was like, I'm not. I don't want to live. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to deal with this. Like I don't. So my grandmother's sister, the one that I said she's so sweet, I remember she was still with the she was there at the hospital with me and just begged me like, just take the medicine, because at the time she didn't know. I never told anyone till I left, because the first time I told, I got in trouble. So why say something the second time? So eventually I started, like I started just taking the medicine, and eventually I got better, and they put me in boarding school. Thank God. They had separated my brother and I. So when we moved from the house that we were at with my aunt, where it was just my grandmother, sorry, because it's my grandmother's sister. It was just me and her and my brother, and everything was peachy. When we moved from there, they separated my brother and I. So I was alone. Like It was just me. I felt like it was just me against the world. Because when we were in the car and it was him and I felt like no matter how bad things got, like my brother would always be there. But then they separated us, so it was just me. And I feel like for my brother also, that's when things changed for him. Cause like even till this day, he's in his own world. But honestly, like I wouldn't wish this on anyone. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I wouldn't. This is something that lives with you. This is something that affects you in so many different ways that you like. I don't even know how I'm alive right now because it's I can't find the word for it. I feel like this situation has done so much damage to me um that like being separated from my brother, I feel like was the worst thing that they could have possibly honestly like done to me because I remember when my mom was coming to get us and she had picked up my brother before picking me up, and when I saw my brother, like it was like I couldn't believe. I was so excited for a second, like all my problems just like disappeared. Like that's how excited I was to see my brother. I think I was separated from him for like mm, maybe like 2 years, if not more, before I saw him again. So I was alone. I had no one. I trust no one. Like I at that point, I was scared to be around any guy because I feel like I didn't know what was so attractive about a child who wasn't even fully developed. Like I didn't even have breasts. I didn't have nothing. I was just flat chested. Like all jokes aside, so I didn't know what could be so attractive or appealing about me to a grown ass man who is married, or an uncle, someone who's supposed to be a family member, a teacher, somebody who's supposed to be teaching me. Like I just didn't understand why me? Like, and all these things, I was never able to talk about it. God forbid you talk about it. So it's like you always keep it in and you don't say nothing, and it just eats at your soul. Like, it just keeps eating at you. And eventually, some people, like at that hospital, I was so determined that I wasn't gonna get better. I was gonna just die and just be gone because at this moment, if I feel like the hospital was my safe place, and I don't know how I made it through that, but I did. And I remember when my mom came to get us at 12, I was I was like, God, thank you. I was so ready to just leave. And finally I was leaving, and when I left, I made sure I never looked back. Like I didn't even say bye to no one. I was just ready to leave because I thought like coming here, my nightmares are over. Not knowing that that was honestly the beginning of my nightmares. But we will talk about that in another video. I feel like I've been through enough emotions right now, so we're gonna end this and we will continue what's in English. We continue with this another day. Like I said, my birthday is on Saturday. So I plan on doing a couple of videos throughout the week, which is gonna lead up to my, I guess, breakthrough. Um, so I'm very excited for this week. And um, what I want to say about, and I know doing hair, for me doing hair, I've come across a lot of different people with a lot of different backgrounds, and I never really understood. I feel like doing hair, honestly, is my calling. Nobody can take that away from me. Nobody taught me how to do it. It's a gift. And I'm starting to see why God gave me that gift or this gift. I've met people who have been raped. I've met, and they have never spoken about it because they feel like people would, like, I've met so many different women who are going through this and they're so afraid to speak up. And for some of them, the only way they speak up is from me telling them, like, a little bit of what I've been through. Then they open up. So I feel like this is something that we definitely need to, like, find. I don't know, like, somehow, some way, something, like, something has to be done because it can kill. Like, it eats you. It just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's a feeling that, like I said, I wouldn't even wish on my worst enemy. But that's enough for today. Thank you guys so much for being here, for watching, for listening. I pray that somebody this week, my testimony and my story will be able to, like, heal someone, uplift someone, do something for someone. I feel like God never gives us more than we can handle. And I feel like with everything that I have been through in life, it is definitely a testimony and is definitely going to help. It has to help someone. It has to change someone. It has to do something for someone. I don't believe that everything that I went through was in vain. So I definitely do hope that it helps somebody out. Again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys for the support and the love and the sharing and all that. God bless you, and I hope to see you again on my next video. Bye.